All right, our top story first, and this has got to do with the kind of festivities that we've been seeing at the Kumbh Mela. Is there now a realization that perhaps it was a mistake to allow the Kumbh Mela to happen in the first place, given the fact that there are in fact so many devotees that have been infected, over 1,700 of them down with COVID-19. In the wake of the increasing cases in the Sadhu community at the Mahakumbh, akhadas have now started exiting the grand pilgrimage that has so far hosted lakhs of people. One of the prominent akhadas participating in the Niranjani Akhada have decided to call it quits at Kumbh Mela from tomorrow. This comes as Uttarakhand registers a record 2,220 new cases on Thursday. This is the state's biggest one-day rise in infections since the outbreak. The decision to go ahead with the Haridwar Mega Kumbh, even as a deadly new COVID wave sweeps the country, has proven to be a controversial one for the state and the central government, with experts and opposition leaders warning of this event becoming a super spreader.
It's a collision between faith and COVID fight. Lakhs of devotees continue to camp in Haridwar for the world's largest religious gathering, the Mahakumbh. Preparations are on in full swing for the 4th Shahi Snan on April 27th. As faith and pandemic clash, rapid antigen test centers have been set up to test and isolate people with COVID.
लोग खुद भी आ रहे हैं और हम भी थोड़ा सा गाइड कर रहे हैं लोग बागों को कि टेस्ट कराना, जो कोरोना महामारी फैली हुई है उसको कंट्रोल करने का यही तरीका कि रैपिड टेस्ट कराएं एज पता चले कि हम पॉजिटिव हैं या नेगेटिव हैं.
While there is fear of contracting COVID-19 among the devotees, they say their faith will overcome it.
सबको देखते हुए प्रिकॉशन ठीक से ले ही रहे हैं. और रही बात भाई आने ना आने की, तो कुंभ को कौन छोड़ेगा. हरिद्वार के प्रति कुंभ चल रहा है, गंगा स्नान करेंगे. थोड़ा डर है मन में कि कोरोना का संक्रमित बीमारी है, चल रहा है, पर फिर भी थोड़ा रिस्क लेके साथ में दोनों चीज़ें कैरी कर रहे हैं.
With Uttarakhand recording its biggest single-day spike in COVID cases on Thursday, at least 2 akhadas have announced the end of the mega event.
मैंने आपने जितने भी संत हमारे अखाड़े के संत हैं, महंत हैं, भक्त हैं, मैंने सबसे हाथ जोड़ के निवेदन किया हुआ है कि आप तुरंत जो है हरिद्वार को खाली कीजिए, अपने अपने स्थानों की आप निकल जाइए, क्योंकि हमारे अखाड़े भी महात्मा काफ़ी लोग बीमार है, हमारे स्टाफ लोग बहुत बीमार, इसलिए हमने ये निर्णय लिया. और हम जो 27 तारीख का स्नान है, हम उसमें करीबन 20-25 महात्मा स्नान करेंगे.
It's not just in Haridwar. Religious gatherings with complete disregard to COVID norms are being witnessed elsewhere too. In Andhra Pradesh's Anantpur district, a traditional fair at a local temple saw a large gathering of devotees, none wearing masks or observing social distancing norms. In Bengal's West Medinipur, people thronged temples for Gajan festival celebrations, throwing caution to the wind.
5-6 हज़ार आदमी आता है और यार हम लोग क्या 11 साल इसका हम लोग माने हुआ नहीं, क्योंकि कोविड-19 के लिए. इस साल में हुआ, हम लोग जितना समझ के सब कुछ ऐसे करके हम लोग मेंटेन करके हम लोग उत्सव कर रहा है.
India on Thursday breached the 2 lakh mark in daily COVID-19 cases. But despite the surge in infections, there is no end to religious gatherings, triggering fears of second wave turning far more intense. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, in spite of the fact that there are so many cases that we're seeing in the country and localized lockdowns and restrictions being announced, there are in fact many people still who prefer to then celebrate or take part in religious festivities, the kind that we saw in Andhra Pradesh also, wherein celebrations of the New Year were held amidst concerns of this event as well becoming a super spreader event.
Images enough to induce a panic attack these days, triggering serious anxiety. Just look at this image going viral today of 2 huge crowds of devotees flinging cow dung at each other amidst a procession for Lord Veerabhadra Swami. A ritual from the Telugu New Year celebrations in Andhra Pradesh's Kurnool district. This from a state that posted more than 4,000 COVID cases on Wednesday with 18 deaths. The image is the latest in a non-stop stream of religious events where India's monster COVID surge is being totally ignored. But in this huge country of ours, where faith is unstoppable even in a pandemic, the instances are pouring in. In Tamil Nadu, a protest was held in Madurai yesterday against the district administration's decision not to allow the general public to participate in the Chidirai festival at the famous Meenakshi Amman temple. Meanwhile, these were the scenes at the Bengali New Year celebrations in Siliguri, West Bengal and Agartala in Tripura. People were seen openly flouting COVID-related guidelines as they made purchases at the Chaitra Mela, while large numbers of devotees were seen gathering at temples, including the famous Anandpur Kalibari temple. And of course, from the site of India's biggest religious congregation today, the disturbing imagery continues to stream in. The Kumbh Mela in Haridwar. Even as the Uttarakhand government announces that there's no proposal to shorten the Kumbh schedule, even with the expanding number of COVID cases on site. The faith versus COVID war is turning out to be a defining feature of India's war against the most ferocious corona surge. Citizens nationwide are viewing these images with anxiety and tension and wondering, have we completely lost all sense of priority, measure and basic common sense? Or does faith truly trump everything else? Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's now take a look at top developments, news developments surrounding the COVID-19 surge, the second wave in the country. Let's get started by talking about Delhi. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has called a meeting of senior officials at 4 p.m. to discuss the COVID-19 situation in the national capital. The meeting is going to be held in Delhi Secretariat and comes hours before the national capital is going to go into night or rather weekend curfew now. Delhi Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal held a meeting with police commissioners, all DMs and 3 MCD commissioners. He has issued instructions to strictly implement weekend curfew in the city to break the chain of virus transmission. With big surge in COVID cases, Uttar Pradesh government has now announced a lockdown in the state on Sunday. Apart from essential services, everything else is going to be shut during the state-wide lockdown. Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa held an emergency meeting at his residence to discuss the COVID situation in the state. State Health Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar and other senior officials were present at this meeting. After the meeting, Yediyurappa said the government is looking to extend the night curfew in other districts. The next review meeting is scheduled on the 20th of April. Well, two leaders of the Congress party have tested positive. Former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Digvijay Singh and another senior party leader Randeep Singh Surjewala have tweeted saying that they have tested positive for COVID-19. They urge those who came in contact with them to self-quarantine. Well, for 2 days in a row now, India has reported more than 2 lakh cases of COVID-19, and the concerns, unfortunately, even after a year, continues to be around the healthcare infrastructure, and questions remain as to how prepared is India now to deal with the second surge of this infection. Fresh cases in the deadly second wave have taken the caseload to over 1.42 crores. The positivity rate in the country now has seen a jump from less than 5% to over 14.4%. Meanwhile, 1,185 people lost their life due to the deadly virus in the last 24 hours. Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, UP, Karnataka are among the worst hit states in the country since the 2nd of April in terms of daily cases, forcing the states scrambling to impose curbs to control the virus.
We are now equipped with everything, and the only challenge is how to overcome the present surge in the cases, which has unfortunately happened in the last 2 months or so. I am sure कि जिस तरह से 2020 में हमने चैलेंज को ओवरकम किया और सफलता की एक लगभग स्टेज तक हम पहुंचे थे, ये चैलेंज भी हमारा जो है ओवरकम हो जाएगा.
Let's now take a look at a series of ground reports that my colleagues have filed from across the country.
COVID situation in Mumbai continues to remain grim. The count of active sealed buildings in Mumbai now stands at 1,100. The count of containment zones now stands at 95. The active cases in Mumbai are more than 85,000. And the biggest problem being encountered by the officials and administrators in Mumbai is the need for medical oxygen. BMC has now appointed 6 officers that will coordinate the supply of the available oxygen to the various hospitals. At the same time, more than 60 nursing homes will also be given the training as to how to use the available oxygen in an economical and judicious fashion. But amidst all this crisis, the good news for Mumbai and Maharashtra is that the central government has now given Mumbai-based Hafkin Institute the permission to manufacture and produce Bharat Biotech's Covaxin on transfer of technology basis. But the overall condition in the financial capital remains very grim. With camera person Mahesh More, this is Pankaj Upadhyay in Mumbai, reporting for India Today.
For the last several days, on a daily basis, more than 5,000 cases of coronavirus were being reported out of Rajasthan, and the numbers at the various testing centers have also gone up. You can see at this CMHO center, the number of people who have turned up for getting themselves tested. There is a huge line which is currently there to ensure that the testing can get done. And there have been several complaints also of people mentioning that there have been delays of more than 72 to 96 hours of people test reports being given to them.
जो हम सैंपल भेजते हैं वहाँ कोई मशीन की प्रॉब्लम भी हो जाती है कई बार. तो मोस्टली तो टाइम पे आ जाते हैं, 24 आवर्स में ही आता है, कभी कभी लेट हो जाता है.
तो टेस्टिंग जो बड़ी है उसकी वो भी कारण है क्या?
वो भी कारण है. पहले से प्रेशर ज्यादा है. ड्यूटी टाइम तो यही था, लेकिन पहले 5 से 5:30 तक फ्री होते थे, अब तो 7-8 ही बजते हैं.
That the reports of coronavirus tests come timely and if needed, so that people can get the required treatment in time, so that the spread of the virus can be limited. With Nikhil Sharma, Devankur Vadhavan in Jaipur, India Today.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.